They say wonder shall never end, my people. This video you are about to watch now is so emotional and it's called Trust Nobody. Ladies, mothers, parents, please stop trusting your neighbors. Stop entrusting the life of your children into your neighbor's hand. You understand? All these people you call uncles and aunties, you don't know what they do for a living. Please stop entrusting the life of your children into this neighbor's hand. This little 8 years old girl was by the neighbor they trusted, especially people saying that we are from the same family, the same village, especially when we live in different states. We don't live in our state, so you will see somebody and you will be saying the person is from your state, the person is from your, how will I put it, the person is your town person. I trust him. No, even your own blood brother and sisters, trust them. Don't trust them, rather don't trust them. This 8 years old little angel was by the so-called uncle. How the little girl do call him uncle, you understand? How did it happen? This little girl was with the mom in the shop, so she wanted to go and ease herself, but there was no toilet in that shop, so the elder sister now crossed her to go to the house and go and ease herself. You understand? Either ease herself or to go and poo, because if somebody want to ease himself, as far as the child is 8 years old, he can wee any close by. You understand? But I think maybe the child went to go and poo at home, so because there was no toilet in the shop, so the child went home to go and poo all alone. Till date, this child were nowhere to be found. So they ran to the uncle's place, because that's the only place they do ask. That is the only place this little angel do go and play. Apart from their house, this is the evil guy that buy this little angel. So guys, I just want to summarize it so that you people will watch the video from the beginning. Before you knew it, this guy have already taken advantage of this little girl, because she was the only child at home. You understand? So this is how this guy buy this little girl. At the end of the story, he this go around. You understand? After knocking her, he comot in finger, he comot in tongue, he comot in eye, he comot in hair wey dey for him forehead, and he put am for inside ogogoro, ogogoro, so for him to use for ritual. Please, my people, stop trusting people. Don't trust your neighbor at all, even your uncle, your brothers, your sister. Don't trust them. Don't trust your children into their hand. Even your own life, they don't entrust it into their hand, because the days are evil. The days are evil. This thing pay me, he pay me. Look at this beautiful angel. It's no more. This guy used this little angel for ritual. He used this little angel for it. Abeg, guys, let's listen to the full details. Thank you, everybody. Please share this video. This is the father of the girl and this is the mother of the baby. So see you guys in my next video. Bye.
When I look the sack, I say, where's my daughter? They show me the sack bag. As I open it, I saw my daughter. I peep, I watch very well. The two eyes are off. The tongue is off. One of the breast is off. Yeah. The two fingers, the small one, is off. Yeah. And if you watch at the center here, he carved out here. I start shouting. So this is not ordinary.
On Friday, 18 August 2017, 8-year-old Victory Chikamso was in her mother's shop in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria, when she needed to use the toilet. Since the mother's shop was close to the main road and there was no public convenience room available, her elder sister had to help her cross the road so that she could go home to ease herself. Their mother, Mrs. Lucy Mezu, had left Victory and her elder sister at the shop to go and attend to some customers in the neighborhood. However, when she returned around 2 p.m., she noticed that Victory was missing. Lucy asked the older daughter about Victory's whereabouts, and the daughter told her that she had gone home to ease herself. Lucy could tell that something was definitely off, because Victory was taking far too long to finish up at home and then return to the shop. She suspected that Victory may have stayed back to play with other children in the compound, which was something she never wanted to happen. She then asked the older daughter to go and bring her back to the shop. The girl did as requested, but strangely, she couldn't find her younger sister at home. She returned to the shop to inform her mother, and this marked the beginning of their frantic and heart-wrenching search for the missing 8-year-old Victory. Mrs. Lucy was confused about how a little girl could live to ease herself at home and simply disappear without anyone noticing. What made it even more puzzling was the fact that no one in the area had seen Victory. She did not return to the shop, and nobody in the area could say they saw her go anywhere. Victory's elder sister then ran to a relative whom they usually address as their uncle, a 23-year-old 200-level student of the University of Port Harcourt who went by the name Ifeanyi Chukwudike. When she asked Ifeanyi if he had seen Victory, Ifeanyi said no. The girl left, but returned to question him the second time, and that was when he gave the first response that raised a lot of suspicions. Ifeanyi said to the girl, "If you don't see Victory, won't you go and rest?" Apart from the fact that this response sounded insensitive, it was also strange to be coming from someone the little girl considered an uncle. The sister left the second time, but her mom visited the same compound shortly after. The reason the two family members kept going to Ifeanyi's compound was because Victory was not the type of child to wander off or visit people's home unnecessarily. According to the mother, Victory only moved between their home and Ifeanyi's house because they were relatives. Ifeanyi was said to be a cousin to Victory's father, and that they also came from the same area in Imo State. Apart from being related, Ifeanyi was also a teacher at the school attended by Victory, which was why the little girl addressed him as uncle. Ifeanyi was also a chorister in the same church attended by Victory's parents. He had such a good relationship with the family that Victory's father, Dr. Ernest Mezu, would often give him some of his old clothes. However, after Mrs. Lucy made her own trip to the compound and then repeatedly called Victory's name without any response, the reality of the situation began to sink in and panic took over. She began to search frantically, while neighbors who heard about the strange developments joined her in combing the area. Her husband also returned home and was shocked to hear that their daughter Victory was missing. Determined to find her daughter, Mrs. Lucy returned to Ifeanyi's compound for the second time. When she got there, she met a little boy outside and then asked him if he had seen Victory. That was when the family got the first real clue in what would turn out to be one of the most painful betrayals any parent would have to experience. The little boy told her that he saw Victory enter the compound and that she was yet to come out. Mrs. Lucy asked the boy for the particular compound Victory entered, and he pointed to Ifeanyi's compound. One of Mrs. Lucy's neighbors then visited Ifeanyi's house and asked him if he was aware that Victory was missing. Once again, Ifeanyi gave another suspicious response. He asked the neighbor, "Must everybody participate in looking for her?" Again, this response was very odd and also highly insensitive, but the family didn't make a big deal out of it at the time. They continued their search for the missing girl till around 1 a.m. that night. Neighbors had also gathered at the family's residence to pray with them for the safe return of their missing daughter. However, around 1:30 a.m. that night, Ifeanyi was seen by vigilantes carrying a large basin containing a bag that was filled with dirty items meant to be disposed of as waste. This raised a lot of suspicions because it didn't make any sense for him to wait till that time of the night to go and dispose of the presumed waste. The vigilantes acted on their suspicion. They called Ifeanyi and then asked him to bring the basin of dirty items over. Sensing the danger ahead, Ifeanyi quickly dropped the basin and ran away. The vigilantes alerted their members while one of them approached the basin to check its contents. On opening the bag, they found the mutilated remains of little Victory with several vital organs missing. Upon making this gruesome discovery, a man and woman immediately ran to the family's house to alert them. When Mrs. Lucy heard that her daughter had been found, she thought she was alive. Since she was too tired to go out, her husband quickly rushed to the scene where he witnessed the nightmare.
When I look the sack, I say, where's my daughter? They show me the sack bag. As I open it, I saw my daughter. I peep, I watch very well. The two eyes are off. The tongue is off. One of the breast is off.
Yeah.
The two fingers, the small one, is off.
Yeah.
And if you watch at the center here, he carved out here. I start shouting. So this is not ordinary.
Ifeanyi was eventually apprehended by the vigilantes and was about to be subjected to mob justice before he was saved by the policemen patrolling the area that night. Ifeanyi was arrested and taken to the police station where yet another set of crazy incidents were waiting to take place. At the police station, Ifeanyi was asked where he kept the missing body parts, to which he responded that they were stored inside a container filled with chemicals. The said container was later recovered and the missing organs were found just as expected.
What is inside this cup?
The sense organs preserved in alcohol.
The sense organs preserved in alcohol. That's the eyes, the tongue, and what again?
The nose.
The nose is also here. What other organ? What other organ is here?
The tongue.
The tongue is here. The eyes, the nose, and what?
And then the skin.
And the
Skin.
okay, the skin that you chopped off from our forehead. It's okay.
Ifeanyi confessed that he wasn't worthy of living. He claimed he was pushed into the act by his master, one Ugochukwu Nwamiro, who used to live in the same compound with him. It was alleged that Ugochukwu had suddenly become rich overnight and also owned a block industry in a different area. This made a lot of people suspect that he had carried out a money ritual. Further investigation later revealed that Ifeanyi actually reached out to Ugochukwu to help him become rich through a money ritual. Ugochukwu then told him that he would need some body parts for the ritual, which later turned out to be the missing parts on Victory's body. It was also discovered that Ifeanyi drugged Victory and defiled her before proceeding to get the needed parts. After he was done, he sent a text message to Ugochukwu informing him that he had completed the mission. They then agreed to meet at a location where he would hand over the body parts to him. After the discovery of Victory's remains, members of the Mezu family were relieved to hear that the case would be transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department in Port Harcourt. For them, it felt like a step towards justice. However, that fragile hope would soon be shattered after the unthinkable happened. Dr. Ernest had joined the police in transporting both Ifeanyi and Victory's remains to the State CID in Port Harcourt. An inspector who had accompanied him from the local police station where the case was initially handled instructed that the case be formally handed over to the State CID. Dr. Ernest followed the officer and met with the Deputy Superintendent of Police in charge. After hearing the details of the case, the DSP was said to be visibly disturbed. He immediately called in an officer named John Bosco Okoreze to begin documentation and also take statements from everyone present, including the suspect. At that time, Ifeanyi was still in handcuffs and the entire State Criminal Investigation Department was in darkness because there was no electricity in the facility. Everyone had to write their statements with the help of a candlelight, which was quite an appalling situation for such a high-level investigative unit. In order to make it easy for Ifeanyi to write his own statement, John Bosco decided to take off his handcuffs. Along the line, Ifeanyi claimed he was thirsty, causing the police to make a very insensitive request. Rather than fetch the water himself or assign it to another officer, John Bosco turned to Dr. Ernest and then asked him to buy sachet water for Ifeanyi. Dr. Ernest was stunned. He refused to grant the request and then queried the officer why he would ask him to buy water for the same man who murdered his daughter. This created a very awkward atmosphere at the station, which would later end in a crazy act of criminal negligence. After the statements were completed, John Bosco handed Ifeanyi over to the investigating police officer. However, he forgot to put back the handcuffs he had removed from Ifeanyi. A few moments later, there was chaos in the station. Officers were heard shouting for a man to be captured. When Dr. Ernest stepped out to find out what was going on, he was told that Ifeanyi had escaped from the police station. The policemen were seen beaming their torches under the cars parked inside the police station to check if Ifeanyi had run under one of them. Unfortunately, he was nowhere to be found. The fact that there was no light in the police station made it very easy for Ifeanyi to escape into the darkness of the night. Moments later, the Deputy Commissioner of Police arrived at the scene and was briefed on the escape. Enraged, the DCP demanded to know why the handcuffs had been removed. When told that it was John Bosco's doing, the DCP ordered John Bosco to be arrested, handcuffed on both hands and legs, and then thrown into a cell. He was also said to have radioed the Commissioner of Police right away. Dr. Enes was devastated. He could not believe what had just unfolded before his very eyes. He thought the escape was planned by the police and also promised to fight the injustice till the very end. However, his worries were just about to get worse. Since Ifeanyi had escaped, the family was afraid that he may come back to attack them. The family reportedly went into hiding, and Dr. Enes stated that there were times he had to switch off his phone out of fear for his safety and that of his family. Ifeanyi was declared wanted by the Rivers State Police Command. His escape generated a lot of backlash from the public, with many people suspecting that it was a plan by the police. Fortunately, Ifeanyi was rearrested 19 days later, and the circumstances surrounding his rearrest were nothing short of astonishing. It turned out that after he escaped from the police station that night, Ifeanyi made his way to Jos in Plateau State, moving completely away from Rivers State in southern Nigeria to Plateau State in the far northern Nigeria. However, since he had no relatives over there, Ifeanyi struggled to feed himself. The hunger got so unbearable that Ifeanyi decided to break into someone's house to steal food to eat. While he was helping himself to the food, the owner of the house returned home. He was shocked to see Ifeanyi inside his house and also eating his food. The house owner became agitated and then demanded to know how Ifeanyi got into his apartment. This interrogation resulted in a fight that ended with Ifeanyi attacking him with a knife. The injured house owner was said to have raised an alarm which attracted his neighbors to the house. Ifeanyi was overpowered and disarmed before being handed over to the now defunct Special Anti-Robbery Squad (SARS). The case was initially treated as a case of breaking an illegal entry. However, things took a turn when an intensive investigation was carried out. Upon further questioning, Ifeanyi gave out the phone number of his elder sister who lived in Rivers State. The police called the sister, and that was how everything about Ifeanyi's crime in Port Harcourt came to light. Ifeanyi was held in the police station and later transported back to Rivers State to face trial. In May 2020, both Ifeanyi Chukwudike and Ugochukwu Nwamiro were sentenced to death by hanging for their roles in the murder of Victory Chikamso. Ifeanyi was ordered to be hung on the neck, while Ugochukwu was ordered to be hung on the leg, that is, upside down. Sergeant John Bosco Okoreze was sentenced to 1 year imprisonment for aiding the escape of Ifeanyi from the police station. This 1 year sentence was given because he had already served 2 years in prison during the trial. John Bosco was also dismissed from the Nigerian police force. Victory had so much to live for. She was known for her intelligence and her strong aspiration to become an international ballet dancer. It is just so tragic that her life and dreams were cut short by someone she knew and trusted as an uncle. May her young soul continue to rest in peace. Share your thoughts on this case in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel for more true crime stories. Thank you for watching and stay safe.